During the investigation of the Titanic shipwreck, researchers noticed something incredibly strange. At the bottom of the ocean, the front part of the ship, the bow, was still in relatively good condition, while the back part, the stern, was completely destroyed and lay almost 2,000 feet away. Now sure, after lying underwater for over 100 years, iron and steel will corrode. But if these two parts were from the same ship that sank at the same time, why was there such a massive difference in their condition? Many researchers believe that something else happened to the Titanic on the night of its sinking. Something beyond just hitting an iceberg that caused far more damage to its stern. But what was it? Make sure to like this video and subscribe our channel for more amazing mysteries. Viewers, in 1912, on the tragic night when the Titanic struck the iceberg, it was sailing alone in the dark Atlantic Ocean, about 700 kilometers off the coast of Newfoundland, Canada. There were 2,240 people on board, and sadly, over 1,500 lost their lives. The ship that was famously called unsinkable quickly surrendered to the power of nature, disappearing into the icy depths. The only eyewitnesses were those who managed to jump into the freezing water. From the moment of impact to the final sinking, no records exist except what these survivors recalled, and they themselves were fighting for their lives in the freezing Atlantic waters. The first rescue ship, RMS Carpathia, arrived an hour and a half after Titanic had already sunk. It was pure luck they even received Titanic's SOS message. Without it, no one would have known what truly happened that night. During the initial investigation, no one really knew what had caused the disaster. It was only after survivors described the iceberg collision that investigators confirmed it, finding an iceberg with Titanic's red paint scraped onto it. Early reports claimed the iceberg had torn a 300-foot gash along the starboard side of the ship. That's nearly a third of the ship's length. But according to survivors, it took over 2.5 hours for the Titanic to sink. Investigators were puzzled. If a 300-foot hole really existed, the ship should have sunk within minutes. For decades, this question remained unanswered. The mystery only grew as years turned into decades. Finally, 73 years later, the Titanic wreck was discovered, a historic moment for marine researchers. Now, they could finally investigate the real truth. The Titanic lay 4,000 meters down in the pitch-black Atlantic, untouched for decades. Expeditions captured countless photos of the wreck. Famous ocean explorer P.H. Nargeolet visited the Titanic over 30 times, but never once saw a 300-foot hole. Instead, detailed images showed a 30-foot damaged area, far smaller than initially believed. Calculations showed this 30-foot crack would let in about 370 gallons of water every second. At that rate, the entire ship would fill up in about 2.5 hours, exactly what the eyewitnesses described. So, one mystery was solved. There was no massive gash, just a 30-foot crack. But why were the bow and stern in such different conditions? Using high-tech sonar scanning, researchers captured hundreds of thousands of images, creating a 3D model of the entire wreck site. This model revealed details no human eye or normal camera could see at such depths. The stern section appeared completely crushed, like a paper ship rather than a steel giant. Its decks were collapsed into each other, and parts of it were scattered all around. Only the two massive engines, each the size of a house, remained intact. But this 3D model also revealed an important clue. Marks on the ocean floor showed that when the stern hit the seabed, it was spinning counterclockwise at about 80 kilometers per hour. This extreme impact and rotational force shattered the stern, causing its decks to collapse into each other. Meanwhile, the bow section was designed to be hydrodynamic, slicing cleanly through the water as it sank. Unlike the stern, it didn't rotate violently or endure direct force impacts. That's why it remained relatively intact. Another mystery solved, but there was still a major question. When did the Titanic split in two? An eyewitness reported seeing the ship break apart before it sank. For decades, it was believed that Titanic split above water. But sonar-based 3D models tell a different story. Over 10,000 objects, coffee cups, plates, chandeliers, deck benches, personal belongings, are scattered across a 3.2 square kilometer area. About 90% of these items came from the stern. If the stern had fully separated above water, its debris would have spread over an even larger area upon hitting the seabed. Instead, experts believe the stern began splitting above water, but fully detached while sinking, rotating and drifting before smashing into the ocean floor, 2,000 feet away from the bow. Today, the Titanic lies heavily rusted on the seabed. Scientists say rusting happens slowly at such depths due to low oxygen. But tests show that bacteria releasing oxygen are rapidly eating away at the metal. At this rate, in just a few more years, the Titanic's decks will completely collapse, erasing its original shape forever. What do you think really happened to the Titanic? If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to Hidden History for more mysteries from the past. Thank you so much for your amazing support. See you in the next episode.